fundraiser for two families injured in a car crash near Nevada. The Missouri Ethics Commission alleges campaign finance violations in Neosho, and the Secretary of State John Kerry responds to Saturday's attacks in Afghanistan.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Missouri Ethics Commission alleges finance violations tied to last year's Neosho City Council election. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Liz Holliday in for Lisa Olagus. The commission issued a ruling this month against Citizens for Growth Treasurer Gene Schwartz. The committee provided over $3,600 in financial backing for 3 unsuccessful candidates on the Neosho City Council election in April of 2012. But ethics officials found the committee failed to disclose any of the spending in a timely manner. The order imposes a penalty of $3,000 unless Schwartz pays $300 within 45 days of the April 2nd order. Deputies in Southwest Missouri find a meth lab in the trunk of a car while recovering stolen property. Authorities say they found the lab on Tuesday while recovering a stolen pickup truck and piece of construction equipment, originally reported stolen in Fort Scott, Kansas. A man was taken into custody and later charged with possession of chemicals with intent to manufacture meth and unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. Topping World Watch. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry calls the Taliban attack that killed 5 Americans Saturday cowardly. Here's the latest on the deadliest day for Americans in Afghanistan since August. From Inez Ferre.
Foreign Service Officer Ann Smedinghoff was delivering books to a school in Afghanistan when her convoy was hit on Saturday. The Taliban claims responsibility for the attack that killed the 25-year-old along with another civilian and 3 U.S. soldiers.
We were so proud of Ann. She did so many great things. She was a hard worker. She was energetic.
In the Chicago suburb where Smedinghoff grew up, American flags and white ribbons were displayed in support of the young diplomat.
She was someone who embraced every day of life, grabbed all the gusto, and just accomplished an awful lot.
Secretary of State John Kerry met Smedinghoff just 2 weeks ago.
Vivacious, smart, capable, chosen often by the ambassador there to be the lead person because of her capacity.
The violence came just hours after the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff arrived in Afghanistan. He's there to determine how much training Afghan forces will need in preparation for the withdrawal of U.S. troops by 2014. Saturday marked the deadliest day in Afghanistan since August.
The folks who want to kill people, and that's all they want to do, are scared of knowledge.
In a separate incident, Afghan officials say a NATO airstrike killed at least 10 children during a gun battle with Taliban militants. U.S. officials confirm an airstrike was called in and are investigating reports of civilian casualties. Inez Ferre for CBS News.
He says 7 Taliban suspects also were killed and 5 other women were wounded inside the house. A dinner and silent auction is held for 2 families injured in a car accident near Nevada. The fundraiser is held at Lucky J Steakhouse and Arena for the families of Andrew Hayes and Daniel Castor. The 2 were injured when the car driven by Castor went out of control on I-49, heading down an embankment and overturning. The 7-year-old Landry Hayes was killed in the crash.
We prayed about it from the minute it started. I know that God's been involved the whole time, and if it wasn't for him, none of it would have happened. I organized the event, but I really didn't have to do anything. It just came together all by itself, and everybody has been amazing.
The money was split evenly between the 2 families. Well, it started out to be a beautiful weekend here in the 4 states, but that certainly doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So what's next, Nick?
Well, we got to deal with more thunderstorm chances, Liz, and even some of us today in our northern counties had to deal with a pretty hefty thunderstorm with plenty of hail reports coming out from that. 77 out of Joplin. That was really a nice warm-up after starting at 55 degrees this morning. And let's take a quick look at the Skywise Storm Tracker, because that was the cell that started out near Wichita, moving through Greenwood County, eventually the northern portions of the viewing area. That was the storm that caused plenty of hail reports, and we gotten some neat pictures from our viewers on our Facebook page. For the time being, though, we are starting to calm things down, but I can't rule out a few showers and thunderstorms overnight, but certainly nothing severe as we head towards sunrise. Lows around 59, but we are not done with thunderstorm chances just yet, Liz. We'll have that details for you in just a little bit.
Can't wait to hear it, Nick. It's rare when two people from the same town end up running into each other in a new place, especially if that place is on Broadway together. But that's exactly what happened to two Joplin theater performers. KOAM's Kelly Reed explains how two passions for the arts brought them to the same place.
From small stage to Broadway, Joplin's Little Theater is a stepping stone to big-time success.
We have had kids that have really come to love the theater and have gone on, to perform in various shows here, and then, they find that they really enjoy that and want to pursue a career in that. So we have people that have ended up in New York, have ended up in Chicago, in Branson. We have people currently in Branson.
Take Mary's son, Andrew, who has made strides in his theater career, leading him to Broadway in New York.
I had visited New York a lot, so it wasn't completely foreign to me, but it was something that I always knew I wanted to do ever since I was little.
Andrew will be directing Fiddler on the Roof this summer at Woodstock Playhouse in New York. And after a summer of auditions, he came across someone from back home.
Headshot, resume, and then all of a sudden I said, wait a minute, I know that name. And so it's a young lady, Kayleen Seidel, that used to work here at the theater, and her mom as well, who's actually in the next play. And so we called her back and cast her, not because I knew her, but because she was fantastic.
Andrew and I actually took from the same dance teachers and in Joplin for many years, but he was years ahead of me, so I knew who he was. So it was just so nice to see a familiar face in there. And I mean, who would have thought going to a New York audition I'd see someone from my small little hometown.
Kayleen Seidel is currently finishing her education in Minnesota, but she would have never have guessed in a city of 8 million people she'd run into a Joplin fellow dancer. In Joplin, Kelly Reed, KOAM News.
Seidel will be making her debut in Fiddler on the Roof at Woodstock on July 11th under the direction of Greenwood. Both Seidel and Greenwood got their start at Joplin Little Theater's Children's Workshop. The Joplin Little Theater's final play of the season will take place on May 15th. That's the news and weather in our first 7 minutes. Just ahead, an insider's story of America's greatest 20th century photographers. That story coming up.
Live from KOAM, this is KOAM News at 10, the 4 states' most watched news.
It's the worst case of animal abuse sheriff deputies in central Oklahoma have ever seen. Dozens of horse carcasses had to be removed from a farm full of malnourished animals. CBS Michael's Konopasek has more.
You can feel through the hair how bony they are.
Volunteers and deputies worked to save 64 horses, 26 dogs, and many other animals from near-death conditions.
It's terrible. It brings tears to your eyes.
Up to 30 dead horses were found on this property where deputies say convicted felon Nicole Vaughn spent her days hoarding animals and junk. She had kept the animals out of sight, but eventually someone saw them and called the sheriff's office. Vaughn is currently behind bars and will be charged with animal cruelty and violating carcass laws. Deputies say before this nightmare, she was found guilty of running a puppy mill.
Whatever the case might be, as long as somebody can step in and help out, that's the key.
Earlier today, somebody brought these horses some hay, and you can tell exactly how hungry they are because for the last several hours, all they've been able to do is eat.
This is the worst I've ever seen.
Volunteers with a rescue called Blaze's Tribute say each animal will be checked out by a vet. The volunteers say they cannot continue without support, and they may soon be looking for people to take these horses in after they are well.
They're saving these horses. They're doing a great job. Without them, I don't know what we would have done.
By the end of the rescue, the animals were carefully loaded onto trailers and sent off to be inspected, fed, washed up, and loved. Reporting in Seminole County, Michael Konopasek.
Vaughn is being held on a $100,000 bond. Those driving in Duquesne may want to prepare for some road closures starting tomorrow. East 20th Street in Duquesne will be closed starting at 7 a.m. Monday morning from Duquesne Road east to Kensner Road. It will be closed April 8th to the 19th for a utility cut in front of the new middle school. No through traffic will be possible. A Columbus, Kansas artist speaks to fellow photographers about 20th century art. J. Armin Rust spoke at Spiva Center for the Arts in Joplin about his collection of more than 600 of America's most renowned photographers, including Ansel Adams, Edward and Brett Weston, and George Tice. Pictures that stick out include some from the Dust Bowl Depression and others of Albert Einstein. Many of those pictures are on display in Spiva's regional gallery.
These were photographs taken by master photographers at the peak of their career, and they made their living taking these photographs.
The exhibit runs through May 5th. Nick will be back with a look at our forecast, but first we take this time to honor a 4-states hero. World War II veteran Captain Lawrence Boyer. Boyer served in the U.S. Marines from 1942 to 46. His hometown, Pittsburgh. We're proud to salute Captain Lawrence Boyer, our 4-state hero.
Welcome back. For most of us, it was a quiet day with warm temperatures, but for areas to the north, boy, that was a different story. We had a pretty rough thunderstorm skirt some of our northern counties today. There's just a little evidence of what it left behind, thanks to Cindy Hereford out of Bourbon County. No matter where you were, either in Fort Scott or in any part of Bourbon County, you had golf ball size hail, and there's a direct comparison right there. In fact, that's a great way to send hail pictures. Just take the hail size and find the closest object that resembles that in terms of diameter. And you can see there we got some pretty sizable hailstones, not only in Bourbon County, but for many areas along and north of US 54 today. So it's kind of a sneak preview of what we're expecting on Tuesday. We'll get to those details in a bit. But first, out from our New Mercy Hospital tower cam out in Joplin, even though the clouds might have looked ominous at times, didn't really do much. So partly sunny skies, southerly winds. Boy, was it a warm day today in Joplin with highs around 77 degrees after starting out at 55 this morning. Both those numbers well above what's considered average for this April 7th, the average being 68 for a high and 44 for a low. Nothing skirted by the rain gauge in Joplin, but we got better chances as we go throughout the next couple of days before we're going to have to deal with an eventual cool down as we head into Wednesday. For the time being, though, 7th and range line. Not much excitement happening here, just quiet skies, but partly cloudy. 66 is where we sit now, southwest at 13, and the humidity is sitting at 65%. Quick check of temperatures across the rest of the region. Everybody's sitting in the 60s at this hour, so it's still pretty mild at this time of the night. Double 6s for Lamar, Pittsburgh, Webb City, and even a hair cooler for Nevada and Fort Scott, with they're sitting at 65. But if we venture a little further west, 61 in Fredonia, 61 in Independence, while most areas around Grand Lake are actually holding on to the upper 60s in a few spots, pretty close to 70 degrees at this time. The Skywatch Storm Tracker, this got a bit of a workout this afternoon, but it's not picking up much, maybe just a few scattered showers and thunderstorms in some of our northern counties, but that's going to be the case as we head through the rest of tonight. And there was that cell that started all the way out in Wichita, came along the US 54 corridor, dumping quite a bit of hail in our northern communities, but it's all because of an upper level wave that moved through, combined with how close the stationary front is. But we are not done with this system by any means. We are going to watch this upper level low that is moving into the northwestern parts of the United States, that in conjunction with the developing surface system out into the southern Rocky Mountain ranges, that's going to have to work through this way and give us more chances for thunderstorms as we head later on down the road. For tonight, though, not looking bad. We're going to have partly cloudy skies, lows bottoming out in the upper 50s to near 60 degrees, and then another warm day tomorrow where you can get some more sunshine with highs on average being in the lower to middle 70s. And then as we head to Tuesday, it's going to be cloudy to start, but watch as this system moves in from the west. If we get sunshine clearing out early enough on Tuesday, we're going to watch for scattered thunderstorms ahead of this system before we're going to get pummeled with squall line as we head into the overnight on Wednesday, which is why all of us are under a risk of seeing some severe storms as we head into Tuesday. Doug and I will keep you updated on those details. But even with the thunderstorms, we're going to remain in the 70s as we head into Monday and Tuesday before that system moves through. And we're going to have another cool snap around, but it's not going to last too long. After we bottom out near 50 on Thursday, we will be back in the 60s for Friday and Saturday before the next chance of thunderstorms works in on Sunday.
My goodness. Well, we'll look forward to seeing it.
Well, it's springtime, so we got to expect a little bit of that around here.
Absolutely. We can't complain too much.
All right.
Well, Jake Faber is here with sports, and it's a big weekend for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, the Royals and the Cardinals both in action today, and the Pittsburgh State Gorillas look to avoid the series sweep against number 12 Missouri Western this afternoon. We'll bring you the highlights coming up next on the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. The Kansas City Royals were in action today, looking to close out their weekend series against the Philadelphia Phillies on a high note and hopefully head back to Kauffman Stadium with some momentum for their home opener on Monday. Let's pick this one up in the top of the fifth. Bases loaded, and Billy Butler absolutely crushes one into left center field. Looks like a home run, but hold up. The umpires initially ruled this as a ground rule double, but after the review, it was clear that the ball for the fence. You can see it for yourself there. It was Butler's first career grand slam, and the Royals take a 6-4 lead. Later on in the sixth, Butler in the same situation. Bases loaded, and once again, he delivers. 2-run single for him. That tied his career high with 6 RBIs in the game. However, the Phillies would respond in the bottom of the ninth. It was a tight one heading into the end of the game, and Jimmy Rollins up to bat. He hits a 3-run blast into right field to bring the Phillies within 2. They'd score another run to draw within 1, but with the pressure on, the Royals' Kevin Herrera delivers. He strikes out Eric Katz to end the game. Royals win 9-8, and they take the series 2-1. The St. Louis Cardinals also in action today, taking on the world champion San Francisco Giants, who received their rings from last year prior to this game. Picked this one up in the bottom of the third. Giants lead 1-0. Pablo Sandoval giving San Fran the edge. His RBI single brings in a run, and the Giants take a 2-0 lead. But let's go to the top of the fourth. Cards have drawn within 1. Matt Adams drives one into the stands off the hop. That is a ground rule double this time. The double would score 2 runs. Cards go up 3-2, but they weren't done there. On the next at bat, Ty Wigington would come up to the plate, and he drops one into left field. The RBI single put the Cards up 3, and the pitcher for the Giants, Matt Cain, not having a great day. Very uncharacteristic for him. But later in the inning, Cards up 5 runs now, and Carlos Beltran doing what he does best. Brings in 2 with a single to left field. Cardinals plate 9 total runs in the 4th inning en route to a 14-3 victory. Big day for the Redbirds, and they even their record at 3-3. Pittsburgh State baseball also in action today. A little college action, looking to avoid the series sweep against Missouri Western. Matt Stalkup got the start for the Gorillas, and in the bottom of the second, he's throwing smoke. Gets Nate Ramler there, and then a few batters later, he gets Jimmy Smeltzer to end the inning. Stalkup had 9 strikeouts in 7 innings of work, only allowed 4 hits throughout the course of the game. But in the bottom half of the second, Cody Ball at the plate. You can go ahead and wave goodbye to that one because it's out of here. Ball's second homer of the season, and the Gorillas go up 2-0. After that, 2 straight walks by Western's pitcher, Ethan Ward, would load the bases for the always dangerous Evan Thomas, and with 2 outs, Thomas would deliver. He lines one at the pitcher to bring in Austin Lost-Amato from third, and the Gorillas take a 3-0 lead. They would go on to add 2 more runs and win the game 5-1. Avoiding the sweep, Stalkup gets the win. Ryan McKay comes in for the save at the end, and the Gorillas improved to 19-13 on the season. Missouri Southern baseball also in action. They extended their win streak to 13 games with a 2-1 win over Washburn this afternoon. Winning run coming in the 11th inning on an RBI single by Dallas Burke. With the win, the Lions moved to 24-11 overall and 18-9 in the MIAA. We've reached our one and only break for our sports feed tonight, but coming up in 95 seconds, we'll take you to Martinsville for some NASCAR Sprint Cup action. Plus, we'll see if Kevin Durant and the Thunder were able to snap the New York Knicks' 11-game win streak. All that and more coming up right after the break. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series continued this afternoon with the STP Gas Booster 500 at Martinsville. Jimmy Johnson had the pole position for the start of the race, and it was a great day for racing. But Brad Keselowski took an early lead and was ahead in the early going. But here comes Johnson, the 8-time Sprint Cup champion, taking back the lead position. A little later, Mark Martin, who replaced the injured Denny Hamlin in the number 11 car, having a little bit of trouble getting out of the pit. But this is where things got interesting. About 8 laps to go, Kurt Busch is the one stopping the race. His car catches on fire in the late going, and off the restart, Johnson takes back the lead. He would go on to win, getting his 8th career Sprint Cup victory.
we stuck to our game plan and knew what we wanted to have in the race and stayed patient. And it was tough to do at times, but it certainly worked out well. And then in the race, we had to adjust on the fly. The track changed more than we thought it would. And Chad put some great changes under the car. It's kind of that time where the 18 and the 20 got to us, and we were able to get our car dialed in. I'm not sure where they went following that, but the 15 and the 24 showed up, and I still had my hands full. So just a very well executed race, or I should say weekend, and then clearly the race today by the whole 48 team.
And from the pavement, we go to the hardwood. Kevin Durant and the Thunder taking on the New York Knicks, looking to end the Knicks' 11-game win streak. Pick this one up at the end of the first half. Knicks lead it by 7, and Carmelo Anthony, you just can't leave him alone like that. Mark him down for 3, and the Knicks go up by 10. They led by 11 at the half, and in the third quarter, the Thunder threatening. Russell Westbrook splitting the D. That brought them within 1, and later on in the fourth, it's Westbrook again. Off the steal, he goes coast to coast, all the way to the other end of the court, giving the people what they want. Able to get the lay-in, and the Thunder go up 111 to 110. But in the closing minutes of the game, the Knicks started to really pull away. Raymond Felton kicks it out to J.R. Smith, who does exactly what J.R. Smith does. He knocks down the 3 as the shot clock expires. The Knicks would go on to win this one 125 to 120, extending their streak to 12 games, and it's only the Thunder's 6th home loss of the season. So yeah, good game by them. We're going to head to break, and we'll see you after this.
Many of us spend our birthday with cake, food, and family, but one Pensacola grandmother chose to spend her milestone birthday up in the air. Marion Stangler spent her 90th birthday jumping out of a plane in Baldwin County, Alabama. And the sassy senior citizen had dozens of friends from her retirement home to cheer her on. But skydiving was a one-time deal, according to Marin, whose sons also joined her on the jump.
Yeah, that granny's more brave than I am.
Absolutely, and she one-upped George Bush Sr., who did it on his 80th birthday. Yeah. So good for her.
Indeed.
And what about last look of weather?
Well, we're going to continue with the 70s as we kick off a new work week, but we have to watch for thunderstorm chances on Monday. But better shot, even some severe weather possible on Tuesday. Then we're going to have a brief detour back into the 50s before we are warming back up as we head into next weekend.
Thanks, Nick.
All right.
And that'll do it here for us tonight. Thanks for watching KOAM News at 10. Have a great night.